when basically we have a very cheap price, they'll be very quick to say cheap. When we have a very expensive price, very quick to say expensive. But when I hit the feel good price, right, they're starting to think, is this cheap? Is this expensive?
Okay.
Well, maybe I'd rather say expensive, right? But they're giving away their true intention and their true feel good price by taking a few hundred milliseconds longer.
Hello, my name is Adam and I'm a CEO of RealEye. We are here today with Kai-Markus Mueller, a professor of consumer behavior at Business School of Furtwagen University in the Black Forest, and an award-winning author and the director of pricing research at Neurensis. Right? Did I spell it correctly?
Neurensics, yes.
Neurensic. Okay. Hello, Kai. Good to see you. How are you today?
Hi, Adam, and thank you a lot for having me.
Absolutely, our pleasure. So, Kai, can you tell us why pricing is so exciting?
Well, pricing is exciting for many reasons. One of them being it's a clearly measurable variable. You can put a clear number behind it, and you can use it as a measurement of how strong your brand is, how large your price premium is, etc. And also from the business side, pricing is very, very important because if you look at the profit equation, there are various variables such as variable cost, fixed cost, volume, and price. And of these four variables, if you manage to increase price and keeping the others constant, you have the largest profit lever of all of the factors, right? So all of these factors can improve profit, but none of them can improve profit as dramatically as price can.
That's interesting. And is it also the price component? It's also the most risky one to move around.
That's a great question. There are surely whenever there are big chances, there are big risks, for which market research does have solutions, and I have developed some of these solutions. But yeah, it's generally it's a big opportunity to change the price, and if you also think about potentials like combining price and value research with behavioral economics, for example,
Mhm.
then there are chances to change your price relatively safely without actually losing volume.
Uh, Interesting. That's nice. Nice way you approached it. And I know that customers are not always telling us the truth, especially probably about the pricing. So can you tell us what the unconscious brain can reveal, what the conscious mind can sometimes hide?
This is a general problem of marketing research. People really don't know what they feel. They are not able to express their intentions. They don't know what they're going to do in future. And this has been known for a long time. Now, with pricing research, you have on top an additional problem because people aren't even interested in telling you how much they're willing to pay, right? If you ask the right target group and the right people that are interested in such a product, then they are very unlikely to give you their true willingness to pay. So there is a big need for understanding perceived value just based on other methods than asking someone, right? Some of these are ongoing price tests on the internet,
Mhm.
but for many products, this is not possible because sometimes a product is in a pipeline, or there's a question like way early in the business case, at for which price can we potentially sell this future product if we keep on developing it, and you have to have some empirical data that will tell you what to do, and whether you're on the right track, and whether the value that you assign to the product really is also the value that the potential customer assigns to the product.
So what are the actual approaches to marry this, what you have said,
Yeah,
with the actual studying pricing in humans'
yeah.
minds?
So that inspired myself
Mhm.
to measure willingness to pay and perceived value on a subconscious level. Um, I'm a brain scientist by training, with some years in pricing consulting as well. So I combined my interests in my career, and I developed tools based on neuroscience, that's based on brain research, as well as based on reaction times, that is, yeah, cognitive psychology research tools from these fields. I combined them to develop pricing research tools. They're called neuropricing. And a neuropricing is basically a suite of various technological tools to measure the perceived value. So the Ferrari of the method is using the EEG, the electroencephalogram. That is this cap you put on your head, and you measure the so-called brain waves. And the nice thing is that the EEG can tell you whether something in the brain matches or doesn't match.
Okay.
So if I say something like a bread and butter, there'll be a match reaction within a few hundred milliseconds. If I say computer butter, there will be a mismatch within a few hundred
Okay.
milliseconds.
So
And
I'm guessing you're trying to provide information to the subjects, to the people who are your test subjects,
yeah,
price, product, and then
yes,
seeing where there's a
right.
match. Uh-huh.
Right. So maybe to clarify this, I'm often getting asked, well, if everything's subconscious, how do people know the product? I
Mhm.
mean, in that respect, I'm just doing what any other market researcher does. We do this at Neurensics. We basically explain the product. We make sure that the customer has understood what this is about,
Yeah.
and well, the potential customer, the study subject, that they all know what they're going to buy, what they're going to get. And this is basically something that is true for any kind of marketing research. If you want to get good results, you have to get the brain into a state that is as close as possible to the final purchasing decision, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
You figure out, like, is this a spontaneous purchase, or is this something people think a lot about? Do they need additional information, and so forth? So this is just going to be explain this product like in any other good marketing research process. And then we are using either the EEG brain scan, or we are using a reaction time method, and we measure the subconscious willingness to pay. And it's exactly the EEG device exactly works the way you've explained it. So we're showing a price and a product, and then we see, is there a match or a mismatch. By the way, the second version of neuropricing, called neuropricing online, works very similar. We show a price and a product, and then what people have to do is they simply have to press either a key on the keyboard, or a button on their tablet or their smartphone, where it says cheap or expensive. And
Okay.
then when basically we have a very cheap price, they'll be very quick to say cheap. When we have a very expensive price, very quick to say expensive. But when I hit the feel good price, right, they're starting to think, is this cheap? Is this expensive?
Okay.
Well, maybe I'd rather say expensive, right? But they're giving away their true intention and their true feel good price by taking a few hundred milliseconds longer. And of course, then you need statistical models over many subjects. But this is something, that we've implemented online, so we can test hundreds of subjects. And then we get a very, very good basis for modeling demand, for modeling revenue, and so forth, which is actually, interestingly, based on 2,500 EEG brain scans. Our models are based on 2,500 EEG brain scans that we ran with various well, professional as well as consumer products.
That's super interesting. And is there any threshold of the reaction time that it's giving you this certainty that that's the correct value, or it differs between subjects, between participants?
It differs between subjects. So what we do is, one of the big tasks here in terms of the research, the R&D,
Hmm.
basically the R&D for this tool was to figure out all the filters, right? How do we automatically filter out people that didn't pay attention, people that always only press a button without thinking, people that, I don't know, doing this on the bus and then have to leave and get off the bus, etc. So there's a lot of filters and a lot of pre-processing in this algorithm that cleans the data in that respect, that it filters out bad responses. And these filters include individual responses. For example, here they benchmark this. If somebody's generally a little bit slower, they have a slightly
Okay,
different filter applied
threshold.
to their
Hmm.
responses than someone who is generally very fast.
Yeah, can imagine. Very nice. I've heard about the implicit. I think that's the methodology, the implicit
Hmm.
reaction time tests, and I
Yeah,
know that it's also being used for measuring some, I don't know, brand correlations between some different, I don't know, values that the brand provides, and many others. So it's basically studying unconscious decisions without letting the slow brain activate and provide the answers.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. There's, for example, my colleague Andries van der Leij, who developed something like that for branding at
Hmm.
Neurensics. So yes, indeed, there's this.
Very cool.
This is a very cool tool, and it's scalable online, and it's competitive in terms of, even in terms of
Yeah,
cost,
yeah, that's
right?
amazing because it cuts the costs of setting up the laboratory with EEG by like dozens
Yeah.
of times. Like we're experiencing very
Well,
similar.
it's not that expensive to run an EEG experiment,
But
but it is.
fielding process, time to field,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
elements probably are the
Let's put it
games.
that way. The EEG is a fabulous tool when you have only a very few subjects to record from. So something that we've done in the past is recording willingness to pay for doctors. And
Hmm.
then, getting 300 doctors online
Mm.
that have a specific prescription behavior in a specific country may be more challenging than visiting 40 doctors in their practice and
Hmm.
running an EEG experiment with them. We've also done this, for example, with professional salespeople. So we had a major Silicon Valley giant in the basically in the B2B software as a service business. And the question was, what is the best price and what is the best increment for the next year? Like, shall we charge 2 or 3 or 4 or 5% more next year?
Right.
And we had a hard time finding system administrators willing to participate in our
Hmm.
study. So we found 40 people that were willing to participate in the EEG,
Hmm.
which was doable, but the online tool wouldn't have been doable in that case. So
Okay.
it depends a little bit on the case,
Sure.
but for the standard consumer case that we kind of are familiar with, yeah, that is what it is.
We
Oh, by
are.
the way, there are cool, interesting new developments now. We are also applying AI
Hmm.
with another startup from Greece. We are applying artificial intelligence to extrapolate from a few countries, pricing research, subconscious pricing research, and pricing models from a few countries into the entire world. So there's also cool stuff going on. Yeah, we're keep on
That
developing.
sounds exciting. So we're kind of like on the same page. We're providing eye tracking running online, not
Mhm.
via laboratory setup. So we're using webcams just like the ones we're talking right now to estimate gaze position on the screen. And we're probably gaining, our customers gain the same, let's say, incentives, that time to
Yes,
results and the option to send a link and get the results with no time, rather than inviting people to laboratory. So there's
fabulous.
definitely, and actually there's one question I prepared, like, uh, have you observed any trends, changes in market research? And probably we just both provided the answers about moving it online. Any other changes and any other trends you're observing?
Mm, Well,
Is it
there,
good?
yes, as you say, even there's moving towards online is one thing. Another very cool trend that I'm trying to push is bringing market research to a new level. Basically, very often, or yeah, sometimes market research is being commissioned by the marketing department.
Mm.
Also, pricing research is commissioned then by the marketing department, and then some people look at it, but it is what it is. And then in a few years later, they commission a new market research project. But market research data often is really very valuable, especially good pricing data is very
Mm.
valuable. So something that I've been pushing in recent years was integrating the results, not just into a PowerPoint or into a JPEG or so, but integrating this into the forecasting tools, the digital forecasting and controlling tools of companies, and using the market research data therefore regularly for any financial decisions, right?
Mhm.
This brings it more into the sales space, the space of the chief sales officer, of the chief financial officer. When they start to work with these data regularly and start to apply them and start to say, we need this in our sales negotiation, we need this, and we need to see, shall we now produce more or less? What's going to happen?
Mhm.
All these questions. If they're not just stuck somewhere on a PowerPoint deck, but if they're integrated into the controlling software, for example, of a company, they really get pushed to a new level, and they basically get the credit that they deserve. Yeah,
Mhm.
they get used and integrated in the big companies, and that's where market research data should go, right?
Right.
It shouldn't be something that is just being pulled out of the drawer occasionally and then forgotten.
Mhm.
That is would be a shame for such good data.
Yeah. Kai, a few words about the new book, The Invisible Game. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yes.
What we can
So
learn from
for
it?
those watching the video cast, well, here
Mhm.
it is.
Mhm.
The Invisible Game.
Sorry, there's something taped on the envelope.
Yes, there's
It's
something
just a
taped on
joke.
it. Is this the real version or is it? Isn't it? No. Jokes apart, there is actually the tape. The tape is part of the cover, so you can't get
Yeah,
it off.
yeah.
Because the title is behind the tape, right? Because it's invisible.
Mhm.
So the book is called The Invisible Game: The Secrets and the Science of Winning Minds and Winning Deals. This is a book where I've teamed up with a professional salesperson called Gabriel Reebok. And Gabi is somebody who has 30 years of experience in B2B sales. And what we do together is we bring together both of our expertise in B2B sales as well as consumer psychology, theoretical consumer psychology, and we take out all the good insights from consumer psychology, which are based on amazing data and amazing experiments, to make them applicable for the professional salesperson. So, in case some professional market researchers that maybe run a market research agency listen to this podcast,
Yeah,
the book is written for people like you. The book, well,
yeah,
even
yeah.
like you, Adam, right?
Mhm.
You sell the product to other research companies, to other big companies or universities. And so this book basically is gives you all the secrets from consumer psychology and gives you tips on how to apply these in the professional B2B sale. That's quite
Nice.
fun, and it's quite
Thanks.
cool. And
So,
this has led to a lot of workshops. Me and Mila giving a lot of workshops and a lot of trainings to various companies, including B2B.
very cool. How much time you pushed to produce this book? How
Don't
big effort was it for you?
don't ask me. Don't ask me. It's a typical thing where you think, in 12 months we'll have a book, and it was not 12 months. It was it was a multiple of that, to say
Amazing.
the least.
So lots of thoughts, lots of iterations captured
Yes,
in one
absolutely. And then
book.
the funny thing is we wrote it in English,
Hmm.
but we're both Germans. So
Hmm.
we decided to also publish the German version. And this was just another year of work. It's,
Amazing.
you may think that AI and DeepL and ChatGTP, they're all very good in translating. Forget it, right? We basically had to rewrite the book ourselves in the end, right? This is, all the translation tools and even professional translators didn't work out, so we had to do this ourselves in the end, right? We got some help from some journalists, but in the end, we had to rewrite this thing ourselves, and yeah,
Amazing.
just change the examples, change the wording, change the sentences, sometimes rewrite entire paragraphs just so that they make sense in another language and in another culture, that all this works out. And this is also, yeah, we have a very established German publishing house that has the right, so we also delivered something, I think, quite substantial. For the Germans here, it's called Das Unsichtbare Spiel.
Okay.
Of course, they're all available wherever, on your favorite online or offline bookstore.
I haven't read it yet, but I can promise you that I'm going to put it on my reading list and I'll for sure read it in the near future.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you. It's also available as audiobook in case you travel a lot or a lot in your car.
I'm
It's
rather a fan
available on.
of paper.
Good.
Super. Kai,
Yeah.
one last question. Do you have any advice to those who are starting their careers in market research, pricing research, even neuroscience? As I know that you came from neuroscience world. I know that lots of students also want to be marketers, want to be market researchers, are listening or
Mhm.
watching us. Few words to them.
Um, wow. What is a good advice? I think a good advice is, when you're still young, when you will come out of university, start on the agency side, right?
Mm.
That is something where you get to see lots of clients. If this is now more consulting or if it's more research or more data processing, you get to see a lot of things. You see different customers, you see different industries. And moving from the agency side towards then at some point, when you maybe are more established, maybe even want to settle down and have a family or so, and maybe have a more relaxed work week. You can still move to big business and have a nice job there. But I think starting on an agency side, this is very good. I did this as well after my PhD in neuroscience. I spent 2 years with pricing management consultants, Simon Kutscher and Partners, and I learned a lot. It was really good, and yeah,
Okay.
it was also the right time before starting a family to do management consulting for 2 years. So I think that is probably what I would do, and then take it from there.
Awesome. Thanks for this advice. Uh, that's it for today. So thanks for being here with me.
Thank you so much, Adam. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.